I'm Monica, a lifestyle coach, and welcome to my podcast, Journey from I to Me, Ordinary to Extraordinary. Midlife is a real occurrence in our lives which is generally termed as midlife crisis. I have reframed it and coined it as midlife identity. In this podcast, we together will dive deeper into what is midlife all about. Midlife is also the time when we tend to self reflect. Let us embark on this journey together where I guide you and navigate with you to rediscover, rebuild, recreate our identity in our midlife and also empower ourselves to build and leave a legacy. Stay tuned for a lot more on midlife identity.
Is midlife crisis a myth? Stay tuned in to understand the reality or the myth of midlife crisis. By the end of this episode, you will know better whether midlife crisis is a reality or it is a myth. I do not call it midlife crisis. As I told you in my earlier episodes and my intro as well, I have coined it as midlife identity. Now, midlife is definitely a real life occurrence. Something which we cannot control, something which we cannot hide, something which we cannot take away from us. It is the journey we have traversed, the number of years we have traversed since birth. Average, if we would say our lifespan to be around 75, 80. So definitely midlife hits you around 40. So midlife is definitely a reality. Now, when it is termed as a crisis, it's termed as, oh my God, people are suffering during midlife and so much is happening. People, it's already, put into the heads that yes, midlife crisis is going to come. You're going to touch your 40s, 50s, you are going to face a crisis. Well, crisis, if you say it's like something is crashing, obviously it's not crashing. Midlife is one of your most richest years of your life. You have gained so much of experience, so much of knowledge, so much of work you have done. You have a big body of work behind you and along with you. This is the time when you can actually relive and make other people aware of your experiences. This is the time to share your wisdom, share your knowledge, share everything that you have learned to the people who have not even walked that path. Or even if they are walking that path, you can actually help them walk the path. So midlife is definitely not a crash. So I just do not go by this term. Now, when we talk about myth reality, I want you all to think, what is it for you? What is midlife for you? In the first place, midlife, as I just said, it's the graph on your life timeline of your life. So it's, when definitely you're 40, 50, there is a definiteness, that yes, time is running out. Now, time is running out means you don't know what's your lifespan, but we are taking the average of 75, 80. And you've already become 45, 50, 60, whatever age you are. And then you start counting, oh my God, I just have 20 years more to go. Do I have only 30 years more to go? Do I have only 10 years more to go? Ooh, scary, right? Please, ab dariye mat. Don't freak out. But that's a reality again. So now this reality, why is it equated to crisis? This is a reality. This is a reality for all of us. So in the first place, I say, no, this is a reality. Face it, accept it. Once I have accepted this reality, that the finiteness of my age, the finiteness of my living actually, it is more easier for me to understand what midlife is all about. See, you have traversed, you've come till here. You've been really working hard. There have been so many struggles, there have been so many challenges. You have seen so much in life. Rather, your life is so enriched. Now, if I talk positively, it is definitely enriched. If you have a negative thought, you would say, what enriched? I'm doomed, I'm finished. I've done so much. I've only struggled. Now, these struggles, I put it in a positive way and I call it as an enrichment of your life. You've lived it, you've done it, you've experienced it. So, 100%, this is what it is going to be. So, it is up to you whether you believe it's doomed or it's enriched. That's entirely up to you. So much you have experienced, so much you have felt, so much of impact has been there on you. There has been so many impressions already planted onto you. So now these impressions, either you hold them on as your past and do not take a step forward, or you release them and just take a leap forward. Again, that's a choice you would make. So the crisis part, when people talk about it being a crisis, this is when you find it crisis because you're just bogged down with the weight of all your past struggles, of the pressures, of the battles, of everything. You're taking so much of weight on yourself that yes, you are going to crash. Anything you will lift beyond your capacity, you are going to crash. So this is the same way, right? You have come up to your middle age, you've struggled, and you had to make a life, you had to build a life, you had challenges, you had different people from different walks of life coming your way. They have thrown challenges at you. Some challenges you have tried to fight, accept, or you have given in. You are tired. Yes, you are tired. Now, when you are tired, you feel, I'm done enough, no more. So it's your breaking point. When you feel you're broken, your breaking point, the crisis, again you crash. So it's a crisis. So it is, when they keep saying this, crisis, midlife, this generally happens because, as you have done so much, यहाँ तक पहुँचे हो आप ज़िंदगी में इतना काम करके, suddenly ऐसे लगता है अब और नहीं, I don't want to go more, I don't want to do more, or I'm pretty done. But you are not done. You are not done because you still have to live those more beautiful years ahead. But how will I live these 2 years, a few more years what I have? Few, I mean to say the 20, 30, whatever. God gave you all a beautiful long life. But whatever years we have ahead, how do I make it beautiful? So midlife, when I say reality or a myth, definitely it is a reality. Crisis is not a reality. Midlife is a reality. Crisis is not a reality. How you're facing it, how you're accepting it, and how you're going to take it forward is your reality. If you give in, you crash, you just don't want to go ahead. It gives you a lot of trouble in going ahead. There is a lot of trauma, there is a lot of pain because you've collected it all over yourself. It's all imprinted all over you. You need to release it. So midlife is the time when we just maybe there's been something happened in your life which has really impacted you. Probably you've lost someone very near and dear one, maybe a dear friend, maybe a parent. It just hits you. Oh God, after a few years, maybe even I'm not going to be there. Then it hits you. What did I do till now? What have I done of my life? What do I want to do of my life? It's just that suddenly the finiteness of your own life hits you big time. So you crash. You crash because of the reality. So it's not a crisis. This is a time when we just think about, all the occurrences that's happening around us. We absorb better, we have more knowledge, we have more wisdom, we have more of impressions on ourselves, the impact of all the challenges We've walked through so much. We've understood so much. We know so much better. We want to know so much better. Wow, aren't you enriched? You are a rich person by this time. Midlife is enriching. As Victor Hugo had a very nice to say, a very nice quote, he said, 40 is the old age of youth, and 50 the youth of old age. Very interesting. I read this quote and I found it so interesting. It's just, how you look at life. If you think midlife is crashing, you crash. If you believe midlife is the time when I can reinvent myself, whatever's done is done. The past is done. You can't change the past, but I can learn from my past. I can learn from the mistakes I have done or from the challenges that I have faced. I can do a lot more with what I have already experienced. If you think in those terms, you can just keep on taking leaps and bounds, and you can build your identity. When you say identity, you would tell me, why identity? I already have an identity. People know me. I mean, I have worked, as I just said, you have walked your path, you have had the journey, and you've experienced so much. So definitely you have an identity. But when I talk about midlife identity, so what happens is, suddenly if some occurrence comes into our life, some challenge comes into our life, it impacts us deeply. So deeply that it really moves you. It shakes you up. And I'm sure you all must have experienced somewhere that incident which has really shaken you up. But maybe you've shook up so much, maybe out of fear, your emotions rise so high to not accept it and face that reality. Maybe you've buried all the emotions and you believe nothing can shake me or nothing has shaken me. Please think back. That thing what shook you can be your turning point, can be that, that trump card, you could say, which will lead you to your midlife identity, and whereby you will understand, you will have those questions, you will rising from within, and you'll start searching for those answers. And that crash which you feel, okay, now my life is finite, I've had enough in life, bahut dekh liya, I've struggled enough, too many pressures, I've brought up my children, I did this for this one, I did that for the other person, the world is very unjust towards me, people are thankless, nobody's grateful for all that I have taken care of. There is so much within us that just explodes. Why it explodes? Because suddenly we have awakened to a reality. I have very few years left with me. My midlife, half of my life is done. I do not have too many years with me. और किया क्या मैंने? What did I do? I was just pleasing people. I was working for people. I was making people happy. Or I was struggling with my own expectations to myself. This puts you in a big turmoil, of questions, self-reflection, trauma, thoughts, and a lot more. And then you feel, oh my God, now what? As I said, the crash. So you have to come out polished from this crash if it's a crash. And each one of you have to work on yourself when you feel that it's my midlife. I am crashing. No, I do not let myself crash. I'm going to build an identity through this crash. What will I build an identity? How will I build an identity? I will question myself. I will go into self-reflection. Understand what is it that is really, keeping on arising. What have I done of my life? If I have regrets, I lean into them. I understand them. I think about them, I address them, and then understand my real questions, find answers for those questions. And then this midlife identity I build for myself. Now, from all that I have spoken and, what I have shared with you all about midlife being a myth or a reality, I would really request you all to ponder, think, self reflect, question yourself. If any of the emotions which you have buried, go deep within, bring out those emotions, bring out those thoughts, bring out those feelings from within. Yes, I know it's not easy. I know how you're feeling. Why should I remove all the dust from the carpet? I have buried it under the carpet. I am not ready to do it. If you're not ready to clean the carpet, remove it all below the carpet, remove all the dust, remove everything that has been collected. It's going to weigh down more and more on you. And then building your midlife identity would not be a reality for you. It's going to be very, very difficult for you. So, yes, come on, I'm there with you. I'm right here on this podcast. Every time I'm going to discuss all your challenges, all the thoughts, all the feelings, all your fears, everything about midlife, what we all are facing, what we are going to go through, what do we feel? Is it real or am I just imagining? On this podcast, I'm going to discuss all of it. So, as I said, ponder, self reflect, go within, and yes, find out where are you in your midlife, and do you think, are you going to crash or you are going to work on building your midlife identity and leave a legacy? Yes. If you have any questions, please do message me or voice message me on this podcast, and I would love to address them and help you in my best way I can. So, signing off for today, Monica, your lifestyle coach. Have an awesome evening. And I would end with this beautiful quote again by Victor Hugo, which I read. When grace is joined with wrinkles, it's adorable. I just loved it. It's so cute. It's so perfect. It's just so perfect for all of us. Yes. Thank you and stay healthy. Bye. See you all.